Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm speaking once again with Isabella Chiarini. She has just released a fantastic new single and sort of a remix for an original song. This one's called Kiss, and I'm super excited to talk to her about it. Isabella, thank you so much for being here. How are you? What's going on?
Thank you for having me. I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing great. This is basically the first thing I'm doing today, so the day is peaking right now. It's not getting better than this, I promise. I'm doing well though. I appreciate you asking. What is new in the life? What is happening?
Other than the single, I've been doing a lot of the same things. I've been teaching, same kind of thing, more from full time. I'm still in school for music business, but that's coming to an end in the next year or so, a little bit more. So
Okay,
I'm excited to get that under my belt. I've actually started an internship with the singers company here in Canada, like a development company, to help
nice.
kind of get into the background more of music. So
Okay,
I'm excited that I just started that. So I have lots of little things kind of going on at the same time.
very cool. I have a question that is unrelated to music, but how long did it take you to find a lipstick that matched your hair? I have to know.
um, this a long time because when you have red hair and you try to wear red lipstick,
Exactly.
sometimes it just looks a little bit not great, and then it ends up looking a little too much. But I actually got this at a Madonna concert. It was like they had
No
it.
way.
Yeah, I had it. They had it because I guess it's the lipstick that she wears. I'm assuming.
Sure.
And they had it at the merch stand, and I was like, oh, interesting. I picked it up and it was red, and I was like, oh, I don't know about this, but I got it anyway, and it ended up
Yeah,
working. So
it looks great. Okay. To the music. So, for everyone out there, this is a remix, a reworking of an original song of yours. The new song is called Kiss, and I want to know all about it. Like I just mentioned before we started recording, when I think of remix songs, I always think of like these heavy electronic songs that don't do justice to the original. They kind of just highlight a production. This one, on the other hand, kind of does everything, which is awesome. So I want to know like what was the thought process behind taking an old song and being like, I think it needs a facelift.
well, this one I actually it was a long time. So I wrote this one when I think I was about 15. I actually like originally wrote it in Nashville, and
Cool.
then I released it in 2020, like during COVID. So it was like a kind of at home release. I didn't like there wasn't too much I could really do for it, so I kind of just put it out there and see what happens because I
Sure.
couldn't perform it anywhere or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I released it, and then as I started creating more music and everything, I realized that the vibe that I kind of went with it in the beginning didn't really match anything else that I was doing. I kind of just
Sure.
threw spaghetti at the wall and hoped for the best. And at the time, I thought it was pretty good. But as I got older, I realized I don't know about this one anymore. So I decided that it was time to kind of put it into the more dance stuff that I've been doing now. So I reworked some of the lyrics, and I went to a producer here, Paul, who actually did my last two songs that I talked to you
Mhm.
about. So, and we just kind of reworked it and turned it more dance from there.
Very cool. And I guess what was sort of like the thought process behind it? Like, I guess in terms of the blueprint of the song, I assume you listened to the original many, many times since it's your song. But then
Yeah.
I think actually, like, the plan of attack in terms of making a new song takes so much. But at the same time, on your end, it's like the song already existed. So were there specific parts that you're like, oh, I think that needs an update? Or I guess what did that whole thing look like?
Well, first thing was definitely the lyrics. I attacked those a little bit first. Like they're not too different. The main kind of idea is the same, and I kept a lot of the same lyrics. I just kind of reworked it. I think just to because I mean, a more dance one. I think it was the original was just a little too wordy for like a dance.
Okay.
It was for
Sure,
a dance.
sure, sure.
It was just like it just had a little bit too much. So I kind of cut those down, and I guess made it make more sense in the original than I thought.
Yeah.
And started with that. And then I had some inspiration. I took a lot of inspiration from like 80s dance music. I've been taking a lot of inspiration from like Dua Lipa with my songs that I've been
Yeah.
releasing and everything that I'm kind of doing now. So always kind of those come into play and I mashed the two together. So I kind of went in with that and I told the producer, I was like, you know what? You don't have to take very much from the original of this. Like I wanted to pretty much sound like we redid pretty much the entire thing. So I was like, you don't have to be like, oh, I stay true to the original. I'm like, no, just kind of go in and I'll give you my references and I'll let you turn it into a dance song. And this is what it came out to be.
No, that's awesome though. And again, it's always difficult when you're using a producer at times because the producer has to be the one kind of reading the other half of your brain,
Right.
especially when it comes from a song like this. The thing that I do like is that although it is technically a different song, it still does have roots of the original, showing that it's like, old me, new me. And I
Yeah.
think finding that balance is really difficult.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to know though is like, as we're recording this, the song is not yet released. When it is released, is there going to be, I guess, like as far as song titles go, how are you going? The name is Kiss, but the original song title is longer. Is it going to show that this is a reworking or an original song?
It's I didn't put it like on Spotify and stuff. It's just gonna be Kiss. But
Cool.
if it's like one of those, if you listen to it, like the whole like the original title is "Kissing the Good Times Goodbye," and
Right.
I still say that in the song, but instead of saying like actually kissing, I just say "You kiss the good times goodbye." That's why I changed it.
Cool.
So it's pretty much the same kind of. If you listen to it, it's pretty much the same melody and everything. So you can see it, but if you just listen to the remix, you might not know.
Right. Yeah, no, I love that. And I think for like the true fans can be like, hey, this is kind of an Easter egg within my discography.
Yeah,
Like if people listen, from oldest to newest, they're gonna find the similarities, but at the same time be like, oh yeah, this has a fresh feel to it. And I really
yeah,
enjoy that. Um, and yeah, I guess like it's tough because, especially as an independent artist, people are always trying to find their voice. People are always trying to find their sound. And I think that you found that. I really think that just your overall style fits sort of the dance pop as far as like compared to the older stuff, but you're always trying new things.
yeah.
So I guess what's in the works for the future here? Is that something that you want to stick to? Is it something that you want to, continue to create in the future?
Yeah, I think that I'm gonna stick to a lot of the dance pop for at least a little bit. But I always like what I like to do is I I really like when artists have their dance versions of things or like their faster versions and then they strip them down. So
Yeah,
I like having songs that can do both, not just like a
right.
strictly dance kind of song. So I have some of those in the works as well of like my songs that are faster, but I'm trying to do like the stripped back versions of those. So I
Nice.
think that's kind of the route that I'm taking for right now. I'm doing releasing the dance stuff first, and then if I feel that it's fit, doing the stripped versions.
So almost going the opposite direction, like I guess, well, this one went from slower to faster and you want to do faster to slower. Do you
Yeah,
see yourself doing that for other songs in the future?
depending on the song, yeah, I think that.
Okay.
I mean, this one I'm not sure about because I know I don't want to redo it too many
No,
times.
I don't think it needs a
But
third time.
yeah,
But
maybe not this one, but I do. But on other ones, I have done that. I think because I took a lot of inspiration from a Canadian artist. Her name is Fauzia. She does like she's like more famous now than just Canada, but
cool.
she released a lot of her dance stuff, and then she released like stripped back versions of it. And I think my plan for the stripped back versions is not to completely release them on Spotify and stuff, just to do like a YouTube maybe like video of it of like a live performance kind of idea of them, like not fully releasing all the time, just like maybe like a live band version of it, something like that.
Sure. No, that completely makes sense. And I think live versions of people just discovering you through YouTube or whatever it is kind of the way to go because it gives them a glimpse into you as to who you are. And it's always nice to kind of see the magic happening on screen at the same time.
Yeah.
That is very cool. I guess in terms of genre and genre influence, you've named a couple people, but I think it sort of begs the question is like, I think us as humans, we're always listening to new artists, we're discovering new people, like we have every song ever at our fingertips. And
Yeah.
as you listen to new music and discover and kind of influence yourself, do you see that sound changing based on what you're hearing, or is it really just going to be like what you're inspired by?
Um, I think it's a lot of what I'm inspired by. Like normally when I'm in the car by myself listening to music, it's a lot of the dance pop stuff. Like that's
Sure.
just kind of what I'm listening to. I know from last time I got into a little bit of Charlie XCX from the last time I talked to you.
Yeah.
I like not I don't want to go as clubby as her. I feel like that's a little bit on the extreme for me.
It's a very specific sound.
Yes, it's a very clubby sound, but like taking little bits and pieces of it is something that I think I've been trying to do in my music now. So just as I keep listening to different artists and keep kind of taking little things, my music will change and evolve. But for now, it's a lot of the dance pop stuff.
Nice. I enjoy that. And yeah, like I said, Charlie's a very specific sound, and it's like I think it's kind of similar to like when Billie Eilish was coming up. She made a very specific sound, and so many people tried to emulate it, and then they just got called out for making the same song. And you don't
Yeah,
want to do that. You want to be you. So keep
exactly.
being you, keep being you.
Yeah.
Um, what was the actual timeline of creating this song? Like, when did the idea spark that you think it needed something? And then I guess what was the process of being like, okay, let's get everyone involved to do this?
Yeah, I was just kind of planning out my year and I was like thinking about releasing and everything that I wanted to do. And then I was talking about it because I was like, I'd done a remix before of one of my songs, and I really liked it because I liked seeing it evolve. So I was looking through, like actually, me and my dad were looking through my songs, and he was the one who suggested, "What about this one?" Because it's one of those songs like I know other artists can kind of relate with. Maybe if you started really young, like I started when I was 13, 14, and when you listen to your music when you in your 20s, you look back at some of your older stuff and you're like, you look back and
I agree with that.
yeah,
But keep going, keep
but
going.
but it's where you were. So like I can
Yeah,
appreciate for what
yeah.
it was. Like it's where I was and what I wanted at the time. And as you get older, you start to think about it. You're like, oh, maybe like there's different choices that you would make. So I was listening to it and I was like, I feel like this one is the if there was one in my Spotify that I could really be like, I want to work on this one, it would be this one. So then I went to my vocal coach and everything, and I was like, how do I know what I want in this. I want it to be dance, and I want to change it. So we worked on it together, and then we took it to the producer from there.
Nice. Okay, I love that. And like you said, it brings up such a specific point of like, well, especially when starting out music at 13 or 14, like your brain is not fully developed. And I don't know how old you are, but it's probably still not fully
Yeah,
developed. And so you're making these choices that affect your future because it's all living on your artist page.
yeah,
But I think at the same time, like it really shows who you are and the fact that you have the drive to do that. Like when I was 13 or 14, all I wanted to do was sit in bed and play video games, let alone like, record music and try new things and truly like channel that creativity.
mhm,
And I know a lot of people in the future take that stuff off because they're embarrassed of it. But
yeah,
at the same time, it shows the growth. And I mean, even having listened to your music for all this time, from song to song, you feel the refinement. You feel like your voice growing and maturing. You feel the production getting
thanks.
better. And I know that's not you, but at the same time, it's your name on it. So
Right.
you're the one with the final say of this needs tweaks. And it's, I don't know, it's such a cool process. It's like watching a director from their first movie to their 10th. Like
Yeah,
there are mistakes being made, but at the same time, like it's kind of what gives the song their quirks and
yeah.
their creative special feeling. I love that so much.
Oh, thanks.
Um, yeah. And I think we've talked about this in the past, but I think it deserves to be brought back up in terms of performing live. Um, I know it's something that is super important to an artist. And I think specifically for you, because you've gone this dance pop direction, it's these songs that need to be played in front of a live, performance.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, what does maybe a set list look like for you, or what would you like to do with a live performance?
Um, it's kind of hard because when you're independent, sometimes it's a lot of sometimes you can't use tracks.
Yeah,
So like depending on where you're performing, like I have one on June 3rd in Toronto and it's all acoustic. Like
interesting.
it's like
Okay.
a Nashville songwriters round, but in Toronto they're emulating. So it's so when you have these faster songs, sometimes it's hard to put it onto a guitar because it's like you don't get the bass and you don't get the synths or with whatever you're adding into it.
Yeah,
So it always is like, how can we kind of change this into making it work now?
sure.
So there's a lot of sometimes the song doesn't sound exactly the same as the recording. But when I'm able to use tracks, I like to always mix it up. So I do have some slower songs as well. So and I don't want to like fully set those to the side. So a lot of the times I'll do like maybe one or two fast songs and then a slow.
Sure.
And like that kind of a thing. So it breaks it up as well. So not everything is like the same. Not everything's super slow and not everything's super just like fast and dancey. So it has something
Yeah.
for everyone.
Exactly. And you don't want to give the crowd whiplash with what you're
Yeah.
doing as well. When in June is that?
June 3rd.
Damn, I'm gonna be in Nashville on June 7th, and I would have loved to go. First time in Nashville, so I'm excited for that.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Nice. Very cool. I guess what does the rest of this year look like for you? I know you're a busy person, a creative person, always trying new things, and you don't need to say too much, but is there more in the works?
Yes, I was actually just in the studio yesterday. I was writing in the studio yesterday.
Nice. Very
Yeah,
cool.
so new song is in the works. I have some shows coming up, like I said, June 3rd. I'm doing writers round, and then I have one. I'm going actually to Italy in June, so June is
Nice.
a little bit of a write off near the end. But
Yeah.
in July, I have doing Youth Day in Toronto, so I have some stuff coming up, and then in the fall, I'm maybe releasing one of those slower versions of a song. So it's
Okay.
a little bit.
Very cool.
Everything's a little bit planned.
Nice. And I guess what are like some personal goals that you're working on for this year? Doesn't even
Definitely.
need to be music related.
Yeah. I'm still going to the gym, like I said last time. I got into that the last time I was talking to you, so I'm still doing that. I recently started the spin classes, so I've been
Oh my God.
so those are coming into it. I started, like I said, I started an internship, so I'm really excited to keep going with that and see learning kind of the back ends of things and copyrights, all that stuff that I'm learning in school, but actually applying it into like real life artists and all that kind of stuff. So I'm
Yeah,
excited because then I can also bring that into stuff that I'm doing as well. So those are
exactly.
probably outside of making music, those are my biggest things.
Nice. I mean, in terms of these classes, how do you feel that they are helping you progress as an artist? Is it more on the technical end?
Yeah, I'm learning. It's a lot of I'm learning a little bit of social media stuff like marketing funnels and all that kind of stuff, but I'm also learning
Yeah,
like different kinds of contracts that you can get if you get a record deal and all that kind
yeah,
of stuff. So it's definitely opened my eyes to lots of things I didn't know about like different contracts artists have gotten and how maybe things aren't totally fair and how you can make them fair, like what
yeah.
would have had to change and all that kind of stuff. Um, and it's different from country to country too. So I'm learning a lot of the American kind of rules, but
Yeah.
since I'm from Canada, some of them are different. So that's why I liked having the internship here is that I'm learning kind of both ends. Uh,
Sure. No, that completely makes sense.
yeah, there's a lot of similarities, but there's some things that are different as well.
No, I listen, I respect you for doing that because there's been so many documentaries coming out in the past year or two just about how all these like boy bands got screwed back in the 90s and early 2000s and
Yeah,
what not to do. And it's like if you would just, I know it's like very exciting to get a contract or whatever this is, but if you're inevitably gonna get screwed over in 5 years to come, then it's best to
maybe
kind of
not.
go over that stuff. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe
Yeah,
continue on the independent route. I think it's
yeah.
very important. I love that. So when is the official release date of this song for everyone out there?
May 23rd.
May 23rd. Okay, did everyone hear that? May 23rd. And then I guess what is something about this song that you feel is important for people to know? It's uh similar lyrically, and I think it holds the same messages, but yeah, what's something important they should know before they hit the play button?
um I feel like it's a song that you can listen to at any time. So it's not one of those songs that you have to be in the mood for it. I feel like because you can listen to it because it's an upbeat. You could be happy. You could be angry at somebody, but
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like depending on how you're taking it. So before you hit play, just be prepared for any emotions. You might be happy at the end. You might be angry at the end. You never know.
right. Well, that's the thing is like, and I think we've talked about this, not everyone listens to lyrics. They just listen to music for the way that it makes them feel.
Mhm.
And I'm not gonna lie, like I felt empowered at the end. I think that the dance pop just production is very positive and optimistic feeling.
Thanks.
And then like I said before was I listened to the original and I still very much enjoy it and it has its time and place in your discography.
Mhm.
But for everyone out there, like if you want to change course and do something like this, I think this is the best way to go about it
Yeah.
because for you, it counts as an original song because it very much is original. And it's always a good idea to keep adding to your discography and putting things out there.
Yeah.
I love the song and I want everyone to listen to it.
Thank
Truly.
you.
You're very welcome. In that case, is there anything else about this song that I might have missed or something that you think is important to share before we wrap up here?
Um, No,
And
just
if not, that's okay.
no, just listen and enjoy. I hope everyone likes it.
You heard her. Listen and enjoy. Well, listen, for everyone out there who may not know, I'm speaking with Isabella Chiarini. The song is called Hiss. We will have the links to both versions so that you can listen to both and kind of compare and contrast. Always have the links to listen and share and follow along and stay tuned for more. You are an artist that, in my opinion, never stops, which I think is kind of the best way to do it. And I thank you for doing what you do. And
Thank
I
you.
thank you for stopping by and chatting. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Thanks so much.
You're very welcome. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I hope to speak soon.
You too.
Bye bye.